Gunman opens fire at Michigan church and sets it ablaze, killing at least 4 and wounding 8. An ex-Marine smashed a pickup into a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints church in Michigan, opened fire, and set the building ablaze during a crowded Sunday service, and then was fatally shot by police. At least 4 people were killed and 8 were wounded, and authorities were searching the building ruins for more victims. The attack occurred about 10:25 a.m., while hundreds of people were in the building in Grand Blanc Township outside Flint. The man got out of the pickup with 2 American flags raised in the truck bed and started shooting, Police Chief William Renier told reporters. The attacker apparently used gas to start the fire and also had explosive devices, but it wasn't clear if he used them, said James Deere of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Authorities identified the shooter as Thomas Jacob Sanford, 40, of the neighboring small town of Burton. The FBI is leading the investigation and considered it an act of targeted violence, said Reuben Coleman, a special agent in charge for the Bureau. Officers responding to a 911 call were at the church within 30 seconds, Rennie said. After the suspect left the church, 2 officers pursued him and engaged in gunfire, killing him about 8 minutes later, the chief said. People inside the church shielded children and moved them to safety during the attack, Renier said. Flames and smoke poured from the large church for hours before the blaze was extinguished. 2 bodies were found during a search of the debris, and Renier said more victims could be found as searchers made their way through the entire church. One of the wounded people was in critical condition Sunday evening, and the 7 others were stable. Renier said some people were unaccounted for, but he didn't have an exact number. Michigan State Police Lieutenant Kim Vetter said bomb threats were made at other churches in the area after officers shot and killed Sanford. No bombs were found, and police were investigating the threats. The motive not yet clear. Investigators were searching Sanford's residence, but authorities did not say what they found or provide any additional details about him, including whether he was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, widely known as the Mormon Church. Sanford served in the Marines from June 2004 through June 2008, working as an automotive mechanic and vehicle recovery operator, according to military records obtained by the Detroit News. He was deployed to Iraq from August 2007 through March 2008 and had the rank of sergeant. Pray for the victims and their families. This epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately, Trump wrote. The church building, circled by a parking lot and a large lawn, is near residential areas and a Jehovah's Witness church. Brad Schneeman, whose home is about 400 yards, 365 meters, from the church, told the Associated Press that he and his daughter heard 2 rounds of 4 to 5 shots around 10:30 a.m. Then we really didn't hear anything for a while before they left their home to see what was happening. Tight-knit church community. Timothy Jones, 48, said his family is part of another Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints congregation, or ward, about 15 minutes away, but that his children were at the Grand Blanc Township ward Saturday night for a youth fall festival. He and his family moved to Flint 2 years ago, in large part because of how strong the faith community is in the area, he said. As people in his congregation got word of the shooting from texts and phone calls during their Sunday service, his ward went into lockdown and police came as a precaution, he said. His children were frantically just trying to get word that people were okay. Sundays are supposed to be a time of peace and a time of reflection and worship, Jones said. Yet in the wake of violence at other houses of worship, a shooting feels inevitable, and all the more tragic because of that, he added. The shooting occurred the morning after Russell M. Nelson, the oldest ever president of the Utah-based faith, died at 101. The next president is expected to be Dallin H. Oaks, per church protocol. The church is in communication with local law enforcement as the investigation continues and as we receive updates on the condition of those affected, spokesperson Doug Anderson said. Places of worship are meant to be sanctuaries of peacemaking, prayer, and connection. We pray for peace and healing for all involved. The impact of the shooting spread throughout the area. When striking nurses at nearby Henry Ford Genesis Hospital heard about the shooting, some left the picket line and ran the short distance to the church to help first responders. Teamsters Local 332, President Dan Glass said. Human lives matter more than our labor dispute, Glass said. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer said in a statement that her heart was breaking for the community. "Violence anywhere, especially in a place of worship, is unacceptable," she said. The impact spread quickly to neighboring communities, including the small city that shares a name with the township. "Although we are two separate governmental units, we are a very cohesive community," said City of Grand Blanc Mayor John Creasy. "This sort of thing is painful for our entire community." About 100 people gathered for a prayer service Sunday evening at the River Church in Grand Blanc, a non-denominational Christian church about 5 miles, 8 kilometers, from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Many bowed their heads, some cried softly. A few spoke their prayers aloud, asking for healing for the victims' families and first responders. "We live in days that are difficult and troubled, days that are weary and tiring," said Pastor Chuck Lindsay, leading the congregation in prayer. "We're exhausted by the evil. We're exhausted by these things. But Lord, you are our refuge."